Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, people still treat you like you're less, like you're invisible, like you just don't matter? If you have, then this story will feel like it was written just for you. Ram was a young boy living in a great ancient kingdom where everything was based on titles and positions. He served in the palace, but not as a prince or a soldier, not even as a servant whose name was known. He was an errand boy. He fetched water. He carried baskets. He swept the large halls where other people walked with arrogant steps. He rushed from one end of the palace to the other, always wanted, always weary, always unknown. People looked at him, but they never truly saw him. When two men of high rank passed, Ram had to step aside. If a task was beneath another servant, it was given to Ram. If something was dropped, Ram was expected to pick it up. People spoke to him as if he were just the wind passing by, completely unimportant. And Ram, quiet and dutiful, accepted it all. He simply didn't know how to respond. One day, Ram was carrying a tray of tea to the royal advisors. He walked carefully, but a nobleman, rounding a corner too quickly, bumped right into him. The tray slipped, the cup smashed, and hot tea sprayed across the floor. Everyone stared at Ram. The nobleman turned on him, his face twisted in anger. "Watch where you're going, boy. Are you blind? Don't you have any sense?" Ram struggled to speak, but the words wouldn't come. All he could do was lower his head and murmur, "I'm sorry, sir." Some people shook their heads. Some laughed. Some just sighed in annoyance. It broke Ram's heart. He cleaned up the mess in silence, his cheeks burning with shame. Afterward, he slipped away to the palace gardens, a place where no one usually went in the morning. He hid behind a tall hedge, sat on the cool grass, and finally let the tears fall. "I try so hard," he whispered to himself. "Why does no one respect me? What am I doing wrong?" As he cried, he heard faint footsteps on the grass. He quickly wiped his eyes, not wanting anyone to see him like this. "Why are you hiding, child?" a warm voice asked. Ram looked up. A very old man stood before him, holding a small watering can. His hair was silver, his eyes were calm, and his hands looked as if they had spent a lifetime tending to the earth. Ram knew him. Everyone did. He was Old Thane, the palace gardener. But many years ago, he had been the king's wisest advisor before choosing a quieter life. Thane sat down beside Ram. "Why are you so defeated, boy? Tell me what troubles you." Ram tried to force a smile. "It's nothing, sir." Thane raised an eyebrow. "It's nothing is what people say when it's really something." Slowly, hesitantly, Ram told him everything. He explained how people treated him, how small and insignificant he felt, how his words never seemed to matter, how he felt completely invisible. Thane listened patiently, his gaze kind and understanding. When Ram finished, Thane placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "People do not see the sun because it is bright, Ram, but because it rises." Ram frowned. "I don't understand." Thane smiled. "You will. I'm going to teach you the 5 dawning principles. When you master them, people will feel your presence before you even speak a word." He leaned in closer. First, stillness. Do not rush, do not panic. A peaceful individual commands power without speaking. When you move with calm deliberation, people feel your control. Second, clarity. Think before you speak. Talk with purpose. Not fast, not loud, just clear. Third, steady breath. Your spirit weakens when you breathe quickly. As long as your breath is steady, your mind is strong. Fourth, rooted posture. Stand tall, not proud, not arrogant, just present. And fifth, patient silence. Most people rush to fill every gap in a conversation. But the one who waits, who listens, and who speaks last holds the true power. Ram listened, and it felt like a light was turning on in a dark room inside him. "Practice these daily," Thane said, "and soon, you too will rise like the dawn. The next day, Ram woke with a new purpose. He started with stillness. He moved through the palace halls deliberately, not with his usual hurried scuffle. He moved with control, and people noticed. He practiced clarity. When someone asked him a question, he paused, thought, and replied slowly and clearly. No rushed words, no panicked tone, and people listened. He practiced steady breath. He would take a deep, calming breath before entering a room and another before speaking. He felt more centered, more in control. He practiced rooted posture. He stood straight, his shoulders back, his presence grounded. People began to make way for him without even realizing why. And he practiced patient silence. When others spoke, he gave them his full attention. He waited before replying, letting the silence do some of the work. When he finally spoke, his words landed with greater weight. Something remarkable was happening. Day by day, week by week, the boy who was never seen was becoming someone who was impossible to ignore. Nobles began to nod at him in the halls. Other servants greeted him with a friendly smile. Advisors started asking for his assistance. The very people who used to dismiss him were now learning to respect him. And for the first time, Ram felt like he belonged. One afternoon, a huge argument erupted in the court. Two advisors were shouting, ministers were yelling, and everyone was pointing fingers and placing blame. Voices clashed like thunder. The problem was a new trade rule with a neighboring kingdom, and no one could agree on a solution. The arguments grew louder, faces turned red, and even the king was becoming distressed and angry. The court bowed as he entered, but the shouting continued. Ram was at the back of the hall, holding a tray. He watched the chaos, seeing the kingdom's wisest men tear each other apart. And then he remembered what Thane had said, "The one who rises calmly becomes the dawn." Ram took a deep breath. He stepped forward. He stood tall. He waited. And in a brief moment, when the shouting finally died down for a collective gasp of air, Ram spoke one simple sentence. A small change to the agreement could benefit both kingdoms. We could share the goods equally in the summer and adjust the measure in winter when our lands produce less. Silence, complete and utter silence. Every single person turned to look at him. The king stared at Ram, his eyes wide with surprise. "Repeat that," he commanded. Ram repeated his idea, his voice calm and steady. A murmur went through the hall. The idea was simple, fair, and perfectly balanced. The advisors nodded slowly, considering it. A smile broke across the king's face for the first time that day. "This," the king declared, placing a hand on Ram's shoulder, "is wisdom. What is your name, young man?" Ram bowed gently. "Ram, your majesty." "Well, Ram," the king said proudly, "you have brought light to this hall today." From that day forward, Ram was no longer just an errand boy. People greeted him with respect. They listened when he spoke. They felt his presence in a room. Not because he shouted, not because he demanded attention, but because he had changed himself. And in doing so, the world changed with him. Remember, respect doesn't come from the outside. It begins inside you. People treat you based on the signals you send out: your posture, your calmness, your breath, your clarity, and your silence. When you carry yourself like someone who matters, the world will start to believe it too. You don't need a high status. You don't need loud words. You don't need to beg for attention. Just learn to rise the way the dawn rises. Quietly, calmly, and powerfully. And the world will have no choice but to see you. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, be sure to subscribe for more content to help you find your inner strength.